Hello and welcome to another episode of Monday Markets. If you're new around here, like and subscribe, it helps us massively. I am back in the office. As you can see, we're back on the big screen, which is good for TA and stuff. I did record this video earlier this morning, but I had a problem uploading it, which has actually worked out for the better because we've had some breaking news about Binance, which I'm sure you're already aware of, so I can actually go through that. It was looking quite boring in terms of news this week until this has appeared, so that's pretty good. We can talk about that. We'll obviously go through the charts. As you can see, I've got some alts to watch, and as you can tell by the title of the video, we've been talking about when is a good time to get into alts and maybe cycle some BTC into ETH and alts at the right time. So we can go through the news first, then we'll get onto the charts. If you want to learn about TA, maybe if you're a beginner or if you want to brush up on some skills, we have just finished and released our TA course, which is free on this YouTube channel. I will link that playlist at the end screen at the end of the video, so stick around for that if you want to watch that. But without further ado, let's get on to the news. So we'll just do the boring bit first, which is just what's going on this week. Not much, as I said, when I recorded the video this morning, it was looking pretty boring. We've got Federal Reserve Speaker today, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. In fact, I'm not even sure if that's happened. That might have already happened. I don't know. But yeah, not sure if that's going to have much impact. We have initial jobs claims on Thursday, and also we have Janet Yellen speaking on Thursday as well. She rocked the market. I think was it last week or the week before when she talked about not all bank deposits being secured essentially. So not sure if she's going to drop another bombshell on Thursday. But as I say, in terms of news, not much going on. However, the big news which came out today. The CFTC, the US Commodity Futures Trading Commission, is suing Binance over willful evasion of US laws. Basically, I've had a quick skim read of this article. Their big problem is essentially that they have allowed US customers to use the allegation, I should say, is that Binance has allowed US customers to use their platform, allowing them to use VPNs and stuff like that. Not really sure how Binance are meant to prevent that, but there's talks here about internal chats that they had employees telling US users to use VPNs and creative means, all that sort of stuff. So basically the allegations, as I say, is that US customers, they've been encouraging US customers to use their platform when they shouldn't. So we'll see how this all plays out. Obviously, it's had an effect on the market, so let's go and take a look at the chart. So if we start with BTC, higher time frames, we have a monthly close coming up on Friday. So far, it's obviously this morning it was looking a lot better, but we are over that 25.2k monthly level. What I could see if we do close above it is I wouldn't be surprised to see a retest of this level as support potentially next month, as I say, if we do close above it. However, if we close below it in the next 4 days, that would be huge. That would not be looking very good. But you've got to play what you see. At the moment, we're at 27k. So, didn't mean to move that. We're at 27k, still looking pretty strong on the monthly time frame. Haven't quite made it up to that 29k level just yet. If we break down to the weekly, bit of a non-event last week. We had a lot of action, but we sort of closed exactly where we opened, so not really much going on there. We had a bit of volatility on the FOMC announcement, but apart from that, nothing doing. As you can see today, we are dropping a fair bit. Let's take a look down to the daily time frame. So we have the 28.5k day level, which is capping upside. We highlighted this level a couple of weeks ago, as it was the start of this consolidation area here, the first day level. As you can see, that is what capped downside so far on the FOMC days. And in terms of support, we've got this 12-hour level here at 26.8, which is still holding despite the news coming out today. So if we knock it down to the 12-hour level, you can see where I've got this level from. It's basically the start of this leg of the move. And as you can see, if you look left, very far left, all the way back to June 2022, there is no support below this until you get down to 25k. So from 12-hour to daily to weekly to monthly, there is no support between here and 25k. Should we lose that 26.8k level, as you can see as I cycle through the timeframes, there really is nothing. So be very interesting to see if this level continues to hold. If it breaks, as I say, it could be quite a quick move down to 25.2k, but is holding for now, even with the news about Binance coming out. So interesting stuff. Let's move on to ETH, starting with the high time frame on the monthly. We've still got that 1721 level acting as resistance, and we're just below it now. We were above it this morning. If we go on to the weekly, again, we highlighted this level at 1783 being an important level as it's the last swing high from September. So cleared these swing highs here from earlier last year, October, January of this year and February of this year. However, as I say, we're stuck on that September 2022 weekly level. We closed right on it last week, as we talked about on both Monday and Friday last week, and starting to look like a rollover with today's candle as well. So let's keep an eye on that. Daily levels to keep an eye on. So we've got the 1847 daily level, which is capping upside. It's the swing high of this August 22, and the level that bulls really don't want to see get lost is this 1635 level. Start this leg of the most recent move back on the 16th of March. Break this and you're starting to make lower lows, and the trend starts changing from an uptrend to a downtrend. So important level there. So we'll see what happens if and when we test it. But for now, high time frame wise, the next 4 days, let's see if we close above or below 1721. Same with BTC. Do we close above 25k? And then if we do we come down and retest it as support? Now, that's ETH and BTC. Let's take a look at ETH BTC, because that is very interesting. If you saw the video on Friday, I'm going to quickly go over it again, but we've got a better screen. We can see things in more detail. So quickly rattle through it again. So ETH BTC, and for those who are new, ETH BTC in a big range has been since sort of May last year. Oh, sorry, May 2021. That's how long we've been in this range. Range high 0.08, range low 0.053. Break down to the weekly, you find the mid-range, which, as you can see, if you just whack a fib on, that's the mid-range there. And it's, as you can see, very, very important level. Acted as strong support and resistance. We have closed below it 2 weeks ago. And so we look like we could be trending all the way back down to the range low. And if we go to the daily, this is the level that I highlighted on Friday. Very significant level, as you can see. If we take a look, it was the bottom here back in October 21. Bit of a double bottom, as you can see. Big bounce, come up to the mid-range, back down, and then a huge bounce. It started a long rally which went all the way up to and beyond the monthly range high. And then it came back and retested as support in May 22. Bit of a bounce, come down, lost it as support, and you can see as soon as it was lost as support, came up, retested resistance, and it was the start of that leg down to the range lows. And then again, even on the way back up, tested as resistance first before it broke. And again, once we broke above this level, it went all the way back to range highs. So very significant level. I think this is the next destination for ETH BTC. I'm expecting a bounce off it, whether that is just a bounce similar to this one in October 21, where we just sort of bounce up to the mid-range and then come back down for another retest, or whether it's just the bottom as it was a few weeks later on the 19th, or maybe we lose it and come down to 0.05 monthly range low. Either way, I think this daily level will be a good place to potentially play a bounce. However, if we lose that level and go down to the 0.05 monthly range low, that it looks like a fantastic opportunity for to enter ETH and alts. So moving swiftly on to Bitcoin dominance, the reason ETH BTC is breaking down lower and the reason also performing worse than BTC, both in their USD pairs and their BTC pairs, is the following. Bitcoin dominance, let's go to the monthly time frame. You can see again it's been in a range of its own. Range low at 39%, range high at about 48%, approaching that range high now. So obviously if it breaks above, then I think that is going to signal ETH BTC going down to those range lows we just spoke about. Still got a bit more room to move, which I think is going to accommodate that move down to that daily level on ETH BTC. However, if this stops and turns around at that level, that's when you're going to see ETH BTC, as I say, potentially bounce off that daily level and go for a bit of a run. And then it just all depends on how far Bitcoin dominance goes, and that will signal how far the alts run against it. So very important area to keep an eye on, especially if you're looking to diversify into some alts, or if you've got some alts and you're wondering why on earth they are not performing as well as BTC. A couple more things then. Let's go to Total 2, which again is another reason alts aren't doing too well. Monthly resistance here at 600 billion. If we break down to the weekly, again looks like it could be a little bit of a rollover and rejection as we saw back in February. So again, the lower this goes, the worse alts are performing. So another reason why alts aren't performing that great. And lastly, let's take a quick look at the S&P. So on Friday, it was looking like we were going to close below this 3963 weekly resistance. It was going to hold. Didn't happen, popped over the top. So I'm not really sure what the read is on the S&P. It's a little bit confusing. If we take a look, so we're on the weekly time frame. I want my brush. It's just here. So excuse the messiness, but you can see these higher lows here. So that looks quite bullish. However, when you look at the top, you've got these like triple top up here. So it's very difficult to see whether we're in a bullish or bearish trend. I mean, we're not really. We're just sort of ranging. If we go to the monthly time frame, we're in a big range, and we're just going sideways. The last 4 months, just chopping sideways. Weekly, again, we've closed over that weekly level, but does it mean we just go up to 4175 and reject again? I'm not too sure. And then even on the daily, we've got this 4060 level, which again, so we're grinding higher lows, but then we've got this flat top here, so at 4060. So again, we just have to wait and see what happens. Although I would say that BTC is following gold closer than it is the S&P. So unless something major happens with the S&P, I don't think it's going to affect crypto too much. So that's all the majors out of the way with. Let's go and take a look at some alts. So one thing that I'm starting to notice, get rid of that, don't need that. One thing I'm starting to notice on alts is the formation of ranges. It looks like we may well be range bound on alts for quite a while. There's no reason why. So we've had quite an explosive Q1 and potentially going into Q2. There's no reason why we don't have a very quiet summer, sort of Q3 into Q4. There's no reason why we don't range for the next 3, 6, maybe even 9 months, as we've seen in previous bear markets. If we take a look at 2018, very flat for a long time. This is obviously the weekly time frame, so that was quite a long time. In fact, let's just get the date range. So we bottomed out and then we ranged sideways for 14 weeks, so 3-4 months, and then again in 2019 you can see we bottomed out here. And we were trading sideways for a long time, again 20 weeks or so. So there's no reason why we might not range for a long time. And as I say, we're starting to see the formation of those ranges now. So here's ADA, weekly range low. You can see here that we formed in December, so at around 25 cents. Range high where we topped out recently at 40 cents. So we topped out here in October 22 and again most recently in January and Feb. And then if you just whack a quick fib, you can see that mid-range lines up pretty much perfectly, and it is the weekly level from the 5th of December, so that all important level. So that was where we first started on all alts. They look the same. This was the level that they broke and made a higher high and then held as a higher low, especially on this 6th of March week as well. That was quite significant. However, we're pretty much coming down and retesting them again, and as I say, if we lose these levels, then we're probably going back down to range lows. So you can see clearly defined range there. There's no reason why we don't just bounce in between these two levels for the next 3, 6, 9 months. So keep an eye on that. As I say, keep an eye on that 30 or about 33 cents weekly level. Close below that and we could well go down to those weekly range lows. Same with DOT. If we go on to the monthly, I've shown you this range before on this channel. So monthly range low around $4, monthly range high. It's a little bit thick, but is what it is, around sort of $7-ish. If we go to the weekly, again, you've got that weekly mid-range level in between the two, and as you can see, pretty much perfect mid-range, and you can see how well it's been respected as well as a support and resistance all the way back from September 2020. It was the high. It held as resistance until we finally popped over the top on the 28th of December 2020, and that's when it went flying. And again, didn't come back until the 7th of November 2022, and that's where it held as support for a bit, broke it, held as resistance. Then we broke over the top, support. So for now, it is support. And again, it's that week of the 5th of December again. So watch out if we do break this level and go down to range lows, it could happen. However, I would also say if you were FOMOing and felt very underexposed to any alt assets in what's this, like February, like mid-Feb, 13th, 20th of Feb, those 2 weeks. You're getting a really good discount now, as I've mentioned before. So, I mean, on DOT itself, 20, 21, 22% down. So, well worth grabbing some if you did feel underexposed there. But just be aware that we could go lower if we lose that weekly mid-range level. And then finally, near, we've got this resistance on the monthly, as you can see. Start of that leg of the move up, and also the start of this leg of the move down. But not really in play at the moment. The main thing to watch is this weekly range. So again, we've got a range high at $2.58, range low at $1.83, and then again, if you put the fib tool on, you can see that the mid-range comes in at $2.20, and again, you can see very well respected both as support and resistance. So it's all support all the way through Jan, Feb, and then broke on the 27th of Feb and was resistance all through March. So we're now retesting those range lows. Again, where is it? 5th of December week. So again, if it loses this level, we could see it come all the way back down to those December lows, yearly open $1.25. So watch out for that. But again, if you were FOMOing up here at $2.80, feeling underexposed, you got a great discount here. And if we do go lower, then you can just dollar cost average down a bit. But 33% discount. If you were underexposed, feeling like you didn't have enough, now's a good time to grab some. And hey, who knows, we may well bounce off this weekly range low, so you never know. And finally, let's go on to BNB. So this is obviously reacting harshly to the Binance news. However, it's really funny how bad news always comes out of resistance. We've had this marked out on this channel since the beginning of the year. Clear weekly range, we've come up to resistance and we've rejected, and now the news comes out to push it down lower. So not surprising, but this is what I think could happen with alts throughout the rest of the year, just bouncing between range low, range high. People get excited at the range highs, people get fearful at the range lows, and we just bounce for 3, 6, 9 months. People get bored, fed up, sell their bags and move on. So I really do think this is what we're going to see for alts, so as I say, over the next 3, 6, 9 months. Now, what we wanted to talk about is the underperformance of alts in BTC and USD. So quickly, just going to remind you of where prices are. So ADA back in, so basically BTC, when we were back here on the weeks of the 13th and 20th of Feb, that was when BTC was around 25k. If we now look at alts, 13th and 20th of Feb, ADA was up here at about 40 cents. And if we just take a look at where it is now, obviously much lower. So it is about 16% lower, whereas BTC in USD terms is about 7% higher. It was obviously a little bit higher before today's drop, but about 10% higher. So BTC's higher, obviously, than it was at 25k, whereas alts are lower than they were when BTC was at 25k, if you get what I mean. So they're underperforming in USD. It's the same with all alts. I won't bore you with going through the rest of them, but it's all the same. And not only are they underperforming in USD value, they're underperforming in BTC value as well. So as you see, this is the ADA BTC chart. Who's to say we're not going to come down here? As we mentioned at the beginning of the video about the correlation between Bitcoin dominance and ETH BTC. If ETH BTC really goes down to those range lows, who's to say that ADA doesn't go to 1,000 sats or below? Really nice level here on the weekly time frame. You can see it's been strong support and resistance in the past, well respected, and we're pretty much in no man's land at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised to see that drop here. So what's the potential drop there on sats? Like, you're looking at a potential drop of another 30% potentially. As I say, not guaranteed, but you can see the reward that is there if we do come down. Look at the bounce we had back in, again, bear market, 10th of December 2018. Look at the bounce we had there, 124%. That's not a bad gain against BTC. Again, when it was resistance and then reclaimed, had a nice little run. What's this? About 80%. So really important level there. Might be, if we do get down there, I think that would be a great time to potentially pick up some ADA and have a run against BTC. Same with DOT, approaching, it's almost on its own level. So we've got a nice level here on the monthly, which is all-time lows. I don't bother counting the first candle because that's when it was listed, and all sorts of it gets listed at a certain price and then it goes shooting up, shooting down. So it's not really a fair, accurate price. So go off this level here, which is sub 2,000 sats, about 1,800 sats. Again, looking like it's going to go straight there. There's no reason why not. Even on the weekly time frame, you've only got this one level here, which is the start of this leg of the move in Jan 21, about 2,100 sats. So again, no reason why we can't come into this area, and this would be a nice little accumulation area. I think if you're looking at the long term, preparing yourself for the next cycle, this little area here, and if let's just go for the middle and a return to all-time highs. Not to guarantee it will, but if it does, you're looking at 400%. That's a really, really good gain. As I say, it's not about guaranteed results; it's about risk reward, and obviously the lower this pair goes, the more risk reward there will be when alts finally do rise against BTC. There will be rotations, BTC going into ETH and then ETH into alts, etc. So when that time comes, it will be a good time if you're in alts. But if you're in alts at the moment and wondering why you're not making money and you're losing BTC, this is why. Finally, let's go on to NEAR, and again, 2 monthly levels here, the all-time lows at 3,530, and then another monthly level here, which is this start of the leg of the move in August 21. Again, nice little accumulation zone if you're looking to invest and potentially grow your sats using NEAR. Again, if we just go to the middle of this accumulation range, if we rally to all-time highs again, you're looking at 900%, which is insane. Again, not guaranteeing it, not financial advice, all that good stuff, but you can see the risk reward. And again, on the weekly time frame, it looks like there's no reason why we wouldn't get down to it. So have a look when it comes to rotating, either if you've got some BTC and you want to grow it even further by rotating it into ETH and alts, or if you've missed out on this BTC pump and you're thinking, how can I catch up? Well, ETH and alts, as I've just highlighted, some of them aren't even close to where they were when BTC was at 25k, so they've got a lot of catching up to do, both in USD and in sats values as well. So have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, have a look at the ETH BTC, and when those levels align, you basically want to see a bearish Bitcoin dominance, a bullish Ethereum BTC chart, and potentially Ethereum outperforming BTC in the USD charts, and then have a look at the individual altcoin assets charts in their BTC pairs to see some really good confluence. And if you get confluence through all 3 or 4 of those charts, then you're probably going to do really well. And if you see altcoins rallying in their BTC pair, they always rally in their USD pair as well, because the value of the USD value of an altcoin is made up of how many units of BTC it's worth. So yeah, keep an eye on that. As I say, confluence between the Bitcoin dominance, ETH BTC, and then, as I say, potentially an outperformance of ETH USD against BTC USD, and then finally consult the altcoin that you want to trade, the altcoin BTC pair, and if it's on a strong level of higher time frame support, well worth a go in my opinion. So hope you enjoyed that. As I say, wait for the As I say, we've got a playlist for TA, either for beginners or if you want to brush up. So wait a couple of seconds for that. I'll chuck it on the end screen. Hope you had a good week, or a weekend rather. Hope you do have a good week. Stay safe, and hopefully this whole Binance thing will resolve itself. And we'll see where we end up at the end of the week. Monthly close and all that good stuff. So I look forward to digesting everything that's happening the week on Friday. So have a good week, and I'll see you then.